Renata Glasc has climbed her way to Chem Baron status through controlling every industry that's keeping Zorn strong. People are absolutely terrified to cross her in the lore, but how's she going to fit into the professional scene? This time, we imagine the competitive future for Renata Glasc, the Chem Baroness.
The difference between medicine and poison is the dosage.
First, a quick overview of her abilities. Her passive gives bonus damage to allies when they hit things, Q is a root that can recast the displace, W is an attack speed and movement speed buff that also creates a zombie if the target dies, who can then be resurrected if they get a takedown. E is a projectile that shields allies it passes through and damages and slows enemies that it hits. And finally, her ult is an AoE Berserk, which is a new type of CC that causes champions to attack anything around them. On paper, a pretty terrifying kit. We'll only be discussing the actual abilities as the numbers will go up and down over time with balance cycles, but before we get into that, let's look at the current landscape for supports. Finally, the support meta is pretty balanced. Engage and Enchanter supports have huge competitive relevance, with most of the top picks being able to protect damage dealers or have a large impact on teamfights. Karma, Thresh, Lulu, Leona, all of whom have good AoE CC, area control and or protection for their damage dealers. Solo Q sees a lot of big mage supports, but Organised Play of Competitive League really values the control a good support brings over the raw damage a mage brings. The items available to supports are great, like Shirelia's and Locket, which are both fantastic items that provide good area control and team buffs, whilst you have Even Shroud and Imperial Mandate which bring additional damage for the team. So let's look at Renata's abilities. Considering the top 5 supports in Season 12, Renata does fit the bill. The Baroness has pick potential in her Q, protects her damage dealers with W, shields and slows with her E, and has this huge team fight control in her ultimate. I don't think Renata's E or Q are anything particularly special or new to the game, however they will feed in nicely to a support role. Being able to displace enemies is a highly underrated CC type that not many champions get access to, especially if you can stun multiple enemies at once moving them. The E will be great for lane as well, but it isn't particularly exciting, it's just a shield and a bit of damage and a small slow. What is exciting, however, is new CC. Berserk possesses a huge threat in the game, and I hope to see some tanks pick it up in the future as an alternate to Taunt as well. Berserk is effectively a charm or taunt style CC, it prevents spell casts and general player control, and it forces the champion to walk towards something. In this instance, that something is the nearest strikeable object. There is a priority in enemy champions, followed by enemy minions, followed by neutral monsters, followed by allied champions, followed by the person who caused Berserk, in this case Renata. Being unable to select your target for any period of time is massive, and the fact that your target could be an ally is where this effect really takes off. ADCs could now mow down their allies with ease, especially if they're ahead. But not only that, during this time, Renata's allies can continue to target you as well. It essentially creates the perfect one-sided fight for its duration and is absolutely insane, and I think if it's tuned correctly it could be a lot of fun. At a professional level, this CC will be very valuable. AoE CC always has the chance to turn a team fight, and being able to use enemies that are ahead against their own team is going to allow for some really exciting comebacks. It also has the use of jungle camp theft, where Renata claims bust through berserking the jungler attacking them, so she can use it to steal things like Baron and Dragon, or maybe even a blue buff if she wants it. And that leaves us with her W. My personal opinion aside, this skill is very powerful and will be impactful in pro play. Imagine a situation with an early game fight, a jungle gank for example. This changes what was a 2v3 into a 3v3, with added stakes that if Renata's target gets a takedown, they're back in lane. Being a zombie has huge advantages. There's a reason feeding Scion was meta for one point, and 3 seconds is a long time to find an opportunity to get a takedown. Currently this 3 seconds doesn't even scale with the skill level or champion level, so once you get a single point in W, you have a great offensive tool. Aggressive ADCs like Samira and Kaisar are going to be very strong off the back of this skill. Even if they don't get the takedown, an additional 3 seconds of Jinx auto-attacking is significant. And that's before even mentioning the steroids on the skill. The skill is going to shake up a lot of teams in the competitive League of Legends, especially with the fantastic communication that these guys have. All of this accumulates into a champion select priority. Renata is going to have to be an early pickup in champion select, or banned away. The utility from W alone makes her a really valuable pick which can be used to reserve an ADC for later in the pick order. Every single champion in League would benefit for 3 seconds of extra life. Add the Baroness's ultimate in, and in pure utility alone, Renata is a dominating force. Irrelevant of what numbers go into her other abilities or even the W and R, I can't think of many ways to counterpick against this once she's selected. Maybe it'll bring in casting ADCs like Ezreal, or maybe bot lane mages like Ziggs will reappear on the Rift. But essentially, she's going to be a champion you either pick up early in champion select, or your enemies pick her up. That or you just ban her away from them. So what will Renata be building? An aggressive support build is definitely going to be her best playstyle. Picking up Imperial Mandate to increase damage and then AP support items will increase her power and her allies. Ardent and Flowing Staff are going to be great items on her. But I can also see value in utility builds like Shirelia's to give even more control over team fights. The extra mobility will allow Renata to get more CC off and will allow her teammates to capitalise on her ultimate better. But also, with most of Renata's value coming from her utility and not her numbers, facing heavy burst teams could see Renata building Locket, potentially even Shroud as well, which will give her a little bit more sustainability which can spread to her team through the shield on Locket. Other AP tank items like Demonic Embrace might also spring up in these builds. It's unlikely, but it could be useful in certain situations and does allow a little bit of build flexibility. So, using Future Sight, how much of an impact will Renata have on the competitive scene? I think it's going to be a big one. The utility that Miss Glasc brings is frankly insane. The power behind the W could be game-winning alone, let alone considering the disruption caused by her role. But what do you guys think? And what do you think of the new CC mechanic? I think it's going to be great fun. And what do you think of the revive mechanic? I'm erring on the side of it's too strong, but let me know in the comments below. And with all that said, I'll see you next time.